Krystal, what are you taking a look at?
Well, guys, the American people have been waiting nearly 6 decades for the truth about what happened to President John F. Kennedy on that fateful day in November 59 years ago. After all that time, under the weight of countless lies and cover-ups, the government has never been able to persuade the American people that they have actually gotten the whole story. In fact, polls have consistently shown that majorities reject the official conclusion of the Warren Commission that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone on that day. Only around 30% right now believe that official government narrative, and at times that number has been as low as 10%. Well, this week, after years of obfuscation, we may get new, stunning answers to some of the thorniest questions around this case. Thanks to a law passed unanimously by Congress back in 1992, President Biden is under a December 15th deadline to release thousands more long secret documents about the JFK assassination. So, what could be released this week? Well, researchers at the Mary Ferrell Foundation, the largest private repository of assassination records, they believe this release could include what they describe as, quote, smoking gun evidence that the CIA not only knew and had closely tracked Lee Harvey Oswald, but that Oswald had been involved in a CIA operation prior to the assassination during his time with the Fair Play for Cuba organization. So, here is Mary Ferrell Foundation Vice President Jefferson Morley describing what could be revealed this week.
But it is a representative sample. What the CIA is hiding is what they've always hidden, which is their sources and methods as relate to Lee Harvey Oswald. By sources and methods, I mean spy techniques, infiltration, deception, psychological warfare, wiretapping, and the like. That's been the story since 1963. But we can answer that question, what are they hiding, with more specificity now. And this is the result of a lot of work by me and other researchers associated with the Mary Ferrell Foundation. What the CIA is hiding is a covert operation that involved Lee Harvey Oswald, used him for intelligence purposes in the summer of 1963, 3 months before President Kennedy was killed. This is an extraordinarily serious claim, and it has profound implications for the official story. The CIA knew far more about the lone gunman than they are admitting even today. So this story deserves the closest possible scrutiny. That's why the Mary Ferrell Foundation is bringing it to the attention of the press and the public.
Morley then goes on to argue that personnel files related to the former head of the psychological warfare branch of the CIA in Miami would reveal details of this CIA operation involving Oswald. Specifically, how the CIA intentionally engineered the legend of Oswald, communist Fidel Castro fan, which would become so crucial to pinning a motive on him as the lone killer. Remember, the official narrative was that Oswald was a notorious member of the Fair Play for Cuba Committee, and his hatred of JFK's anti-communist Cuba policy was the reason for his solo decision to murder the president. This public record of his pro-Castro radicalism would not exist were it not for publicized interactions with an anti-Castro organization, which was run by Joe Nides and the CIA. Now, we have already learned in previous releases that the Fair Play for Cuba Committee itself had been infiltrated by the CIA. So effectively, it took 2 CIA-involved Cuba organizations to create the public record of Oswald, communist sympathizer, which the media would be fed and run with as explanation for why he shot Kennedy. This obviously raises a whole lot of questions. We already know from prior releases that the CIA lied to the Warren Commission, the government's official fact-finding body, about how much they knew personally about Oswald. But if we learned this week that not only did they know who Oswald was and were they tracking him, but that he was actively involved in a CIA operation, that would indeed be a bombshell revelation and a huge key in understanding what really happened on that day. What else might still be hidden? Well, the JFK Records Act of 1992 mandated that all of these files be released in 25 years' time, with few exceptions. In spite of that, an estimated 16,000 documents related to the killing are still being hidden by the government. After all these years, we deserve the full truth. And an overwhelming majority, 70% of Americans, want these records revealed now. Trump punted on his legal obligation under this law, and Biden has so far largely done the same. Last year, he released an underwhelming, limited batch of documents, but delayed a more fulsome release, blaming the delay on the COVID pandemic. A risible claim that led to the administration being sued by the Mary Ferrell Foundation for failing to comply with the '92 law. Last year's memo, however, only bought Biden a year's time, and that year is up on Thursday of this week. Will he choose to continue the path of secrecy and lies, or will he finally give us the answers that we deserve? Here is Morley again on what it all means.
Only full disclosure on December 15th can resolve this question. The Joe and Edie's files constitute a clear and simple test for President Biden's order. Will these 44 records be released next week? The Mary Farrell Foundation certainly hopes and expects that they will. We filed our lawsuit to complete the historical record of JFK's assassination as soon as possible. This story is just one example of why we took legal action.
There's a lot of talk these days about conspiracy theories and misinformation and a lack of trust in government. But how can we possibly trust our government when the facts surrounding a critical turning point in American history continue to be concealed decades after the fact? The government is all out of excuses. If there is really nothing to hide, prove it. And Saagar, I just don't know at this point. Listen, hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now. And Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us. And if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.